Hi guys, welcome back to the Kyrocast channel. We're starting off a new series. This is Patch Notes, where we're going to go through every single Challenger League and talk about the changes that each of the teams have made. I'm going to have two guests every single episode to talk about their respective leagues and obviously their expert opinions on where perhaps they're going to finish. Some of the information for this episode might have not been the most accurate, but bear with me, I'm dealing with Wikipedia here. All the 2023 information is based off the last split of Challengers or Ascension, and the 2024 information is based off what Wikipedia has now. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the episode, and if not, let us know down in the comments. Well, let's get right into it then. Everybody already knows Hazza, but we need to introduce our two guests, two people from the East region. Well, I guess one from the Polaris now. We've got lovely Mr. Terp, who is the kind of part of the TO for East, and we've got Enfys, the coach of Metasport. How's it going, guys?
Oh, good. Thank you for the invitation, man.
Yeah, thank you too. Also,
So, I mean, we'll start off with you, Tip. How is the general kind of preparations been going for East? How have you guys been kind of enjoying the off season?
How you say it in British? We are fucking tired. Right?
Yeah. Is it
Yeah. Jokes aside, basically, we had some changes. Obviously, before 2024, we changed the format to best of three because this was the general feedback from the players, but also from the viewers. We obviously have a lot of new players. I counted 17 or 19 rookies. I
Yeah.
can't remember right now, but I think it will be a record when it comes to rookies in one split. Obviously, not counting the first split of 2022, where everyone was a rookie basically. But yeah, we have one new organization, we have one new team who came from open qualifier. We will have some new watch parties and some other structure changes within the team. So it was a lot of work, basically. But yeah, I guess we are prepared at least for the first split. We will see what will be happening between splits, obviously, because the second split is always this one that counts more. But yeah, I'm happy with the current state. I guess we are good to go.
Sick. And I guess, obviously, Infus, you're not only just the coach of Metasport, you're also a caster for Ace. You're taking part in content later on today. So, how are you excited for the upcoming season and the new teams that are coming forth?
oh, when it comes to my team personally, I'm thinking, well, the preparations are just going well. That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
when it comes to East, because that's the main topic right now, I'm thinking that the teams made several improvements, but also the transfers that were made from the league are looking just incredible. Like our league produces a whole lot new talent.
Yeah, exactly. I think I mean, even Polaris is starting to steal East talent. We've now got a full Polish core, or not Polish core, but a full East core now with Apex.
Yeah, Tub was asking me before we started what I thought of the new Apex team, and I said I didn't think they were maybe as good as last year. And then he asked whether that was because it was an East team or not, and we did think that maybe there was a chance that they'd jump ship if given the opportunity.
No.
But no, I'm happy that we keep our one main big team that we had from before. And yeah, East is always fun to watch, so I'm excited to get into this.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is no surprises for me because back in 2023, Casa had East core in the roster. Now Apex has East core in the roster. East supremacy, guys. This is it. Now we just need to beat fucking Frenchies. You know?
Oh man.
Fair enough. Right.
I'm not sure if I can use bad words here.
No,
but
you can swear if you want, mate. Don't worry. Right, let's
it was last time, I promise.
right, let's talk about the format first, because Tip, you touched on it briefly with how you guys have changed it. I've got all the how it was in 2023 lined up here, and I've also got the 2024, the changes that you guys have made. So we'll start off first. You're talking about the best of 3 matches. That was because the players are not only that, the viewers as well. So how did you actually get that feedback from the viewers? Is what I'm more interested in. Was it just from Twitter?
No, no, no. I mean, it was mostly like from what we observed during the whole year, what was happening on the chat, also on Twitter. We got several feedback on DMs and emails even. Yeah, viewers also use emails. I know it sounds weird and nobody will believe it, but this is happening. But to be honest, like the general problem for some viewers was like, hey, I want to watch my favorite team, and when they are stomping the other team, the or my team is getting stomped, I can watch it for like 10 minutes for 2 times a week or something like this. So it's not really enjoyable, and from also like to your perspective, it's hard to keep viewers on your stream if basically the games aren't uh, competitive because one team is dominating and stuff like this. So my idea is like we can gather more viewers, and this is what we need. Basically, even though we did a lot of improvement when it comes to viewership comparing to, for example, 2022. I believe there is still a lot of space to improvement.
Yeah.
And it won't be easy because everyone is stealing our best player from us. I'm talking VCT, I'm talking other regions, Polaris, and stuff like this. But we believe that getting like giving a viewer more space to come and watch will also increase the viewership
Yeah.
in general.
Enfist, have you got any thoughts? Are you more excited for a best of 3 compared to a best of 1?
Well, it's easy to keep track when it comes to BO3s. When it's BO1, the whole day is just, going from 2 teams to yet another teams. And it's just getting confusing for some of the viewers. And BO3 is just getting more competitive. You can have more taste of this competitiveness throughout the whole day rather than having every single team on one day. You're just getting a great opportunity to see how those perform in a long-term match with 3 maps in there, how they prepared for those, and just basically it makes a little bit more of a great competitive scene in there for East, I'd say.
Yeah. I guess as you've already had the opportunity to cast best of 3s as well, it's a format you're well acquainted with. Do you prefer that to the best of 1s as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as a caster, you're always going to want to have more space to try and build a narrative over a
Yeah.
space of time. And yeah, the map pool's always going to change. Like Enfist said, I look at a lot of competitions, even Spike Nations, going from the best of 1s into the best of 3s. There's a lot more brain muscle that you can flex there. And I think something else as well that we saw in Split 1 of last year with East was that Enterprise, due to round differential, because of the amount of overtimes they had,
Yeah.
actually didn't qualify as high as they maybe would have otherwise. So getting more map sort of reps under your belt as well is going to be a big thing.
I would also like to add here is that just having BO1s in there rather than BO3s creates this kind of thing that you can have less maps being played out. Like when you have BO3, there's more opportunity to have less played maps being chosen. When it comes to
Yeah.
BO1, it's just maybe perhaps Acend going in Haven, not right now because it fell
Yeah.
off from the map pool, but still, it was just the same maps going on and on and on. Right now, we can have more variety.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I guess that kind of, to emphasise your point, that was the case in the best of 1s, was the ascents and stuff like that coming through. So, Tip, now you've obviously now starting to do promotions in relegations every split. I think that was more of a Riot decision than yourselves, but you guys have decided not to implement Premier, and you've been quite outspoken about that on Twitter as well.
Um, I mean, when it comes to Premiere, there was some changes behind the scenes. So until the official communication is here, I won't speak about it.
Yeah.
Uh, I won't hide the thing that I'm not like big fan of Premiere mode in a current state, and in my opinion, faceless competition can never replace the
Yeah.
proper esports competition and stuff like this. And I'm not telling VRC is the perfect solution, but you know, you had it as well in Polaris with Beacon Circuit, and you know how cool might be stories written within the VRC. Like basically, after 2 years, we have several histories with players starting their history in VRC and going one step by another to the not only VCLs but also to VCT. Runner might be perfect example, or I don't know, Camo, for example,
Yeah.
Grubinho. And so I believe Grubinho never played the VRC. He started in VCL in 2022. But yeah, uh, we will have promotion relegation after every split, and this is what every league will basically have, because this is, as you said, Riot decision.
Yeah.
uh, and I won't like elaborate further on it because it makes no sense in this scenario.
Yeah.
And yeah, did I miss any part of the question or?
No, no, you hit it on
Okay.
hit it on the head. I mean, I guess kind of to move it upon to kind of talk about Premier. I guess Enfist and Hazard. What are your thoughts compared to like your Beacons or your East Uniteds versus the Premier system that Riot's proposing?
Well, for me personally speaking, I'm kind of neutral in those topics.
Yeah.
Like, I think Premiere is a little bit over glorified in certain regions, and there's not much for me that I can say about this. I'm sorry.
Cool. Hazard.
I agree.
I can only add one thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sorry, Haza.
Of
I
course.
understand why, for example, Premier was introduced as the only way to VCLs in regions such as I don't know, Brazil or Asia, stuff like this, because they had no VRC, like
Yeah.
they had no
Mhm.
grassroots at all. So you have to have something, and yeah, why not with the in-game mode when you have nothing? But in regions where you had a proper grassroots build and you had companies investing into grassroots for 2 years
Yeah.
now and counting, uh it's just questionable. This is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean I agree with both points, right?
Yeah.
Especially from what Terp said. I guess the thing with I've lost my train of thought, but I think the point that I was trying to make is, yeah, I think when you look at EMEA specifically, there are the three big ones. You've got East United, Beacon, and then also Project V and
Yeah.
DAC. Other than that, maybe there aren't such other big circuits. And the main thing for me for Riot is it's going to be any developer's wet dream to have it directly integrated to the game where you can monitor it that much easier. But the thing I did want to add, though, and something else that Terp said, was that, yeah, in its current state, I don't think it's necessarily fit for
Yeah.
purpose. It's really difficult to follow along if you don't have a demo viewer or any way to really get into the server and spectate what it is that's happening as it's happening. Then there's no way of building those storylines. Like I said, I feel like the storyteller in this episode, but I think you get the point that I'm trying to
Yeah.
make, right? You want to know what it is that's going on and be a little bit more involved in that process and the development, especially at a grassroots level.
Yeah, 100%. And I think now moving on to like more East stuff, to be more exact, we've got the standardised playoff system that you tried a couple of different playoff systems last year, and I think even there's a couple of other not VRCs, sorry, VRLs or challengers leagues that have been kind of looking at the second system that you guys used, the one that is now being implemented, the two phases, the two double elimination brackets. I guess guess we'll start with you, Enfist, and what your experience is. Are you more happy that we're going for this, or that you guys are going for this double elimination bracket?
It's just creating more possibilities for the teams that were underperforming a little bit earlier, and then just having it tied up so they can actually bounce back into the competition, not being left over when it comes to earlier parts, and just fulfilling the season, not having an opportunity to pass through. With that, they can still have an opportunity to fight even for the higher spots.
Yeah. Tip. I mean, I'll say to you, what was the decision making behind the two phases with the double elimination brackets?
I mean, in historical context, we always had great stories of comebacks
Yeah.
in lower brackets and stuff like this. It's easy call from my side. Like when you have teams who grinded like really a lot to be in this place, to be in the playoffs, like you can't just tell them, yeah, one bad game and you have to go home and stuff like this. Like I believe people deserve second chances and players also deserve second
Yeah.
chances, right?
Yeah, definitely. Hazza, you've had your fair share of interesting playoff brackets. What do you think of this?
I think it's a good choice, right? To carry it on as well and have that second double elimination bracket. It's more games to be played and more opportunities for these teams to prove exactly what it is they can do, and more to play for as well. I think sometimes towards the end of the season, sometimes you'll get teams where they're in a position in the league where they feel like, oh, we're not going to make playoffs. There's nothing to do at this point. But as long as there's something to fight for on the table, then there's
Yeah.
that incentive to keep the entertainment up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, having two phases allows for more teams to be involved, and then the last, but certainly not least, this is probably the most important change. I would argue, divvying up the points differently. Tip, I think you guys are starting to implement the night system. If I'm right in saying, is that correct?
I mean, like in my opinion, in the first year, all TOs were still not sure how to implement the point system
Yeah.
within the we call it Road to Ascension. I don't know if it's a name in other leagues, to be honest, but uh, everyone was pretty doing it like how would you say it? Like basically, we were just still learning and still checking what is the real difference between split one, split two,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, we believe that implementing the different scale of point
Yeah.
distribution might help to have the competition like more healthy during the whole circuit, not only during the second split, for example, because the problem was that after first split, only three teams, maybe four, had real chances to make it through Ascension. Obviously, the introduction of planes helped a lot because it made the rivalry between top two, top three, top four, top five teams more interesting in every league. But yeah, we believe that this little change at the end of the day, in my opinion, would help to just have more interesting competition during the two splits, and it won't like make organizations, for example, give up after the first split.
Yeah.
At least not the big part, because someone who will be at the very end of the table will probably have no chances to make it into Ascension. Let's be honest, but this is how it looks, and
Yeah.
this is something you can't really change. You would have to uh, give up on point system in split one in general. So
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, mate. Enfist, Hazza, have you guys got anything to add to that?
So to be perfectly honest, it just creates an establishment of like more of a competitive integrity, that just
Yeah.
as Tab said. Though we need to keep in mind that every single league will have their own point system. It will vary, maybe in small details, maybe in bigger details, like for example MENA, but still it all comes down to as greatest of a competitive integrity as it can get.
Yeah.
And this is also like one thing that I want to ask you guys because I'm curious what you think. Do you think that maybe the point system should be unified within all VCLs?
I think it could necessarily, like, it could make sense. It's
Yeah.
hard to say, especially from what we saw in the first split. And again, I'm sort of echoing your thoughts here a bit, Terp, because there were a lot of teams that just came first in both splits, like back to
Yeah.
back. We saw that happen a lot in Ascension. So it's a little bit difficult to say whether they had fine tuned it or not. But it's also pretty simple to highlight some of the shortcomings in certain Challenger leagues, such as Turkey, for example, where the first split was just prize money and only the second split counted. You had Digital Athletics win after some very dominant teams throughout the regular season. And in DAC, where CGN ended up qualifying before anyone else, they were the first team on the list for Ascension. Yeah, that was due to the shortcomings of Mouse a little bit, but no real chance for an upturn by the time we got to the latter stages of the second split.
Yeah, and I guess, well, now we've kind of discussed the format. Unless anybody else has got anything they want to say, and we can actually get into the teams and discuss exactly what's been going on and who's qualified. So we'll start off with the newest team on the block. We'll start talking about Chipi Chapas. They qualified through the East Open qualifier that you guys ran. Enfist, I'll let you go first. What's your opinions on this team and what they showed in that Open qualifier?
I would love to see this whole international team pop off, but
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, I haven't seen this much compared to the other teams that are within the league. So I guess we just have to wait. Though there's a promise for them that they can achieve some kind of ways. Though, in my opinion, they still need to prove themselves in order for them to establish.
Yeah.
You messed up
No,
with
no.
the flags, brother.
Oh, did I mess up the flags?
Yeah, but
Ah.
it's fine. I guess
No.
you can maybe edit it in
I don't think he did, because if you look, it's from the top. I thought the same
It's from the
thing as
top, yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So you
The
said
nicknames are on
Outcast
the
is at the
top.
top, and then Zach is down, and then
Yeah.
it's
but
just
Outcast is Bulgarian.
oh,
This
never
is
mind.
Ah,
That's
right, okay.
Hungary.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
lucky.
okay.
yeah.
Well, listen.
We cut it. We cut it. We
Yeah,
cut it.
listen. I'm not the best when it comes to flags, right? I'm not geographically good, but at least the information's here, Terp. You know?
Yeah. I think we can say that Outcast is from Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Serial is from Latvia. Globex is from Russia, Great Britain, and Poland. He has actually 3 passports,
Okay.
and obviously the Polish one is allowing this roster
Yeah.
to compete. Zach Kappa is from Great Britain, and Lovers Rock is from Turkey. So this is how it looks. This mix is like built on crazy talented people. Like obviously they were accused of cheating, I believe, during the qualifier. uh I think that the investigation is still like ongoing, because everyone has to report such things if there are official reports coming on your mailbox and stuff like this. But I have spoken to a lot of people, and to be honest, like the narrative is from some of them that they might be cheating. Some say that no, they are just puggers, and the ranked style on those qualifiers sometimes can work and stuff like this. So yeah, I hope they are clear. Obviously, I had my doubts watching, but until anything is proven, I think that everyone should claim that they are 100% clear. And obviously, I'm counting that they will have really good season, because it's always fun to watch the team that qualified
Yeah.
directly, not were signed by our organization and stuff like this. So I'm curious what they will show.
Yeah. Hazza, you co-streamed the qualifiers as well. You were celebrating that Zach Kappa's in the team. You've got your boy. So I mean, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, pretty sure that he's the only UK player in East at this point in time. So
Brody.
nice to have a little bit of that. Oh, yeah, okay, true. Brody is there, and epic LAN winner. You'll
Yeah.
never sing that. It's very true, actually, very true. But I mean, look,
Oh,
we're
man.
doubling up, right? Not too much of that there. But I mean, what a week they had in the
Yeah.
run up to the Christmas break, right? I think that 3 out of the 5 players were in the top 5 spots on the ranked ladder. It's that ranked style that Terp talks about. I spoke to quite a few players within the scene, and they said that, yeah, they're legit. Sometimes it does catch people off guard. I can think of a smaller example. This is like Chipi Chappa's Tots and Friends on crack. Like when they burst through
Yeah.
tier 3 in Northern Europe from ranked, they were fairly unknown, but there's that potential there. And for these guys, the ceiling is sky high. And as I said before, they're quite notorious within those ladders as well. They have the quality, and as long as they're legit, then yeah, you have a bit more time now to really build that team.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they can build. I'm not sure if they have a coach or not behind the scenes or anything, so that's something that I'd be looking for to see if they can build upon that foundation. But yeah, I guess that's Chippy Chappers, and we can move swiftly onto Escape Gaming. They've made a lot of changes from their what was it? They had like a roster last year. You can see they've only kept Hitch. I'll go to you first, and first, what's your experience with Escape Gaming, and what do you think of the complete change that they've went for?
Well, to be perfectly honest, we see very much of an experienced players in there with Quixie. He's been known for being in there when it comes to Rap and Ninjas, the Hungarian squads.
Yeah,
Hitch, a very talented, experienced player, also with Rizvan coming in, and just those imports in terms of KRM and Shy. Those are just going to be important for them, and it looks pretty neat. We'll see how it goes.
yeah. Tip, what's your opinion on it? Like a full upheaval of the kind of the old roster to this 2024 one coming into the new season.
Yeah, so from my point of view, it's nice to see that ESC signed Rizvan because he was one of the rising stars in VRC in Valorant is United.
Yeah.
So I was hoping back in 2023 that one team from VCL will give him a chance in VCL 2024. Uh, I'm not sure what to think about this combination right now because I obviously know Karem or Kerema, I don't
Yeah.
know, and Shy, but I have no idea how they will like perform in such a team environment. Quixie is obviously one of the players who is pretty experienced right here, alongside with Hitch, who is our lovely old dog of East region, and I really, I really like the fact that even though Hitch was close to like give up on playing Valorant probably several times because of all those organizations problem he had in the past and stuff like this, he's still there and he's still hungry for building another project, right?
Yeah.
And with such an experienced in-game leader,
Yeah.
I believe that they might have a chance to fight for something. But we have to also be honest that it's probably one of those teams who uh, will have hard times against better teams.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think like with it being a project, it will be like kind of harder to go up against the more experienced teams. But sometimes that could be the makings of rosters. Have you got anything else to add to what the boys have said?
Yeah, sorry, I had to run and get the door because it's not too often that we get McDonald's to this house, but you were kind enough to deliver some
Yeah.
for helping on the video. So, yeah, firstly, appreciate that. And yeah, it's that hunger, right? Just
Yeah.
like you're seeing here on my desk. Hitch is someone who's been around for a while and someone that I'm acquainted with too. You know, he was
Yeah.
with Cyberwolves before. This is a really experienced guy. I think it's just a question of can he put these the rest of these players in line. I don't have too much experience with the rest of them. Obviously, Turp and Memphis will have spoken
Yeah.
about them at length already. But yeah, for me, this feels like a team which are going to be trying to keep their spot in the league more than anything else, avoid Promorello and having to go through East United again.
Yeah, so first two teams that we've seen, obviously looking to keep their spots. Moving on to Incognito then, and what they've brought in. They've kept two players, Darkosec and Admic, and they also were the promotion team from last East United as well. Tip, we'll go to you first, mate. What do you think of the fact that they have decided to change up the team? Understand that Kayak has left to go to Apex, but what about the rest of the players that they've decided to pick up?
So like the very last roster of Incognito didn't look like this. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's also important to notice that Kayak was playing for Z10 in
Yeah.
off season,
Mhm.
so this is one thing, and yeah. I believe that the last roster was including the Cossack, Admic, Westside, uh, Grucha,
Yeah.
and uh,
I
and
would.
who was
Yeah.
the last one?
Yeah, I picked it
Y-
up from the stage 2 finals where they when they got
It's all
promoted.
good,
Yeah.
all good, all good. I'm just telling like what was the changes at the very
Yeah.
end, and also like the coach in 2024 won't be Kosti.
Okay.
It will be Dollar who is coming back to Poland from Desire Game Changers
Yeah.
to participate in VCL. But the rest of the team is obviously good, and they were forced obviously to make some changes. With Diamant picking up West Side, for example, but West Side got replaced by Psycho, who is a more experienced player, for example, and still very talented.
Yeah.
He obviously didn't had like perfect 2023. I believe that also the team environment didn't help a lot. From what I know about Psycho, he should feel better in like full Polish team environment once again. So I hope to see him shine, because obviously he had great moments during his career
Yeah.
in the past. And we have Katspi back in VCL, which is also pretty cool, because for those who don't remember, Katspi was playing, I believe, in 10 star in VCL
Oh yeah.
previously. So this is and actually he won his search in 2022 with 10 star. So this is something really cool. Basically, you have as well Ubreak, who was winning 2022 Stage 2 edition alongside Katspi.
Yeah.
So two champions already in the squad. And he was having a 1 year break to write his how you say matura in English, Enfist? Like,
Uh, it's just high school exam, I might say, like,
okay, okay. I thought that there is some sort of specific naming for it, but he had 1 year break for school purposes. Now he's back. You have super experienced players as Admic and Ubreak, and you have Darkosek, who was tier 3 warrior for 3 years, and finally he has his chance in VCL. It's funny to think that he will be one of the rookies
Yeah.
we are actually having in his search. But yeah, I'm excited, obviously, for this roster because right now it will be the only full Polish organization playing in East. I guess you can count Z10 as another Polish organization, but still,
Yeah.
they're from Serbia. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for my close friend Tomek, who is the owner of the organization, and he invested tons of money in not only Incognito but also in the whole Valorant in Poland and
Yeah.
partly in East. So he will finally have a chance to have fun with his team playing in VCL.
Yeah.
And to be honest, in the current state of the league, I believe that this team will be fighting for top 4, top 5, probably something like this,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
That's sick. So, Enfest, do you agree? Top 4, top 5 for this roster?
I mean, couldn't agree more. Like I've put them on, I think, the third spot.
Okay.
I'm thinking so. Incognito is a very promising team in that terms, and as Terp said, a very talented player. I was watching sometimes Psycho, and I was very proud of how he developed over the course of years and stuff like that. Also, the experienced players, as Terp mentioned, Catsby, Ubreak in there would be a great addition to Darkosik and Admic. Like Incognito is just more than ready in order to try to take maybe not take overly, but like try to fight for the highest spots and maybe even make it even further.
Hazza, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think Incognito are a really interesting team because much like Darkosec, they feel like the warriors of Tier 3, and I saw
Yeah.
them competing in like pretty much every East United that I had the opportunity to watch. In terms of the players here, yeah, they've really bolstered it with quality, and like you said, Caspi and Ubreak as well from their time on 10 star, they have
Yeah.
that quality. They went to VRL finals at that point in time. You look at some of the players that have been on their books, such as Kayak, who's now gone to Apex, of course, and even a little bit of time that Patitek spent there. Both players that I've spoken to in the last 3 months or so, and asking them questions about this team specifically, they said, you know, the Polish environment is different to any other team that you play on. Kayak, it's his first time on an English-speaking roster, but he spoke about his time on Incognito as, it being a completely different feeling, and one which I think when things are going well, it's going to be really hype and they're going to have lots of energy. It's just about maintaining those levels and not going over the top, I think. But yeah, I have them like probably around top 4, upper mid-table, something along those lines.
Sick. I guess now we can start to get into the teams that we've known from last split. And first off, we're going to start with NOM Esports, guys. They have completely uplifted their roster. Started with some new players. I'm going to go to you first, Enfist. A completely new slate for NOM Esports, and one which is going to be a lot of interest, I could imagine.
I don't want to say much about this, although I'd just say that for me, it's a little bit of a downgrade. I mean, the players that from the previous year, you can see that Ubreak, Zeke,
Yeah.
Locker, it's just whole another
Oh.
level of the players. And I haven't seen this much of those players that are introduced to this roster. I mean, I'm not putting them high.
Yeah.
It's just basically what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I've noticed that the flags are all wrong on this one. That's my bad. But we'll go to Terp. Sorry, mate. What's your opinion then on NOM Esports?
So I definitely agree with Adrian that on paper this is downgrade when it comes to the player names and stuff like this.
Hmm.
But you have to remember that with the investment non put into this roster, into really good roster like Sean P,
Yeah,
Lacker, Zeke, Ubreak, Rave, all those players are amazing. Rave is probably one of the biggest talents in Israel. Sean P is one of the pride of the Israel alongside Alive and uh, Jesus, I'm always forgetting. He was playing in Excel. Help me, guys, out here. Uh,
Oh, it's been so long, man.
yeah,
It's been so
it's
long.
good. He was also playing in East Third, so it's also my bad.
yeah,
But it was 4 years ago, so you have to go
I can find
easy
it.
on me, but I think I can also find it. I mean, resident, obviously.
Yeah.
This roster was really strong, and they still didn't perform on a proper level. Like I believe they didn't even make the playoffs of the league,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, right? So this is the big problem if you invest that amount of money. I also lied that Resident was playing in Excel. Alive was playing in Excel, obviously.
Yeah.
Resident was playing in
Yeah.
Sports recently. It's and before in Team Finest. I messed up a lot of things. Sorry, Haza, for putting you on a mine.
All good, man. Yeah,
Uh,
I look, I see the flag, it's alive, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute. Yeah, no, it's all good, all good.
I just realized like what I did. So the new roster of NOM is obviously weaker on paper because the players are not that experienced. Like most of the
Yeah.
guys probably won't know anyone else than Shimply, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh, but also Elysium is very experienced player, another East Warrior since 2020, and obviously I can't like tell you that they will perform better than the previous year, or they
Yeah.
will be fighting for top spots or something, because nothing suggests it right now. But I like the mystery around this roster. Like I know they had open tryouts, so it might be either really good or really bad.
Mhm.
Let's be also honest. This is the thing with open tryouts. But yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed because NOM is actually one of the organizations who has really long history
Yeah.
in Search. They are basically the only team uh, after Anonymous withdrawal from the league, the only one team who is still there. I guess you can also count the Anorthosis slash Gonex, because Anorthosis slot was transferred to Gonex, but it's a whole different organization, and NOM is here for the third year in a row. They had their rough times, obviously. They had their mistakes, but I'm happy to work with them, and I'm obviously wishing them
Yeah.
the very best.
Yep. I guess has I guess one a star-studded lineup to what is not necessarily a well-known one. What's your opinion on the transition?
Yeah, I'm happy to be a bit more harsher than Enfist. I think that this is a massive downgrade, but you have to be realistic about it as well. It's like Terp said, not just in sports, but in esports, especially with the sort of current winter and whatever, you need a return on investment. And I think this is a much safer roster than spending out on players like Lucky, Ubreak, and Zik, who definitely, would have made a dent.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think it's disappointing, really, that the old roster didn't do better than they
Yeah.
ended up. I can remember in those best of ones that we were speaking about a bit before, they were really pushing some of the better teams in the league, but just falling short at every single opportunity that they had when it looked like it was theirs for the taking. And yeah, I mean, this is what Challenges is all about, in the words of sort of Leo Faria, talking about it's like, you win or you're the big loser, essentially. If you can try and create some kind of talent here, if you can bring through some new names for us to get excited about, maybe sell them off to some other teams and get that money back and keep going and sort of look to the future and keep building
Yeah.
over the tenure which they've had for the last 3 years or so, then that's got to be it, right? I see this maybe as more of a stepping stone, but certainly this year will be a proving grounds for them.
Yeah, this is starting to get exciting because I love to get the kind of the rosters that are a little bit unknown. There's something to actually look forward to in the next split. But speaking of next splits, we'll talk about B8 and what they're bringing forward for this next split. We'll go to you, Enfist. Maybe not the kayaks we were talking about earlier, but they've certainly got a new kayaks to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. There's bait coming in there
Yeah.
with two players that were just from before, Arch and Camille, talented ones, of course. But we got new upcomers like Vanzeru. Him on Enterprise, he was just dominating in so many ways. Like when he was playing, you could have just seen him fragging. Of course, there's Nunmeister also, Disco from Enterprise. They just taken the players that were shining through Enterprise when it comes to the previous year, and just wanted to make something out of it. And to add to that, we got Kajux, who's nominated to be one of our up and rising players. So, I mean, for me, this roster is kind of a good promise.
Yep. Agree. Do you agree there, Terp?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's actually one of the most interesting rosters, to be honest, in this year, because we have three super talented rookies, uh, and I believe this will be a great challenge for the coach, like for Kauk, to just make proper players in a short time, because
Yeah.
obviously from what I know they ended their trials at the very end of December,
Yeah.
so they didn't had much time to prepare. But if Arch and Cow can work quickly with those guys, I believe that they might have a real chance to fight for at least top four, because the potential in this team is huge. The server will obviously show what is the like current state of this roster and current state of those players, but with a proper development, all those three players can play in the best teams. I have no doubt. Like everyone showed it in 2023, and I'm super happy. This is basically the same thing I mentioned when we were talking about Rizvan, right? When
Yeah.
I saw Van Zero, Nunmeister, Kayux, everyone playing in VRC, I was hoping that we will also see them in 2024 in East Search, because obviously when you have talents of this scale in your region, you just want them to stay for the first thing in region, not to, for example, play some weaker VCLs. Sorry to everyone for saying it, but there are weaker VCLs, and we all know it. Uh, and I'm just hoping that they will develop good under the Arch Commando.
The Arch Commando has any opinions on Arch Commando and his band of troops?
Yeah, it's all about Arch for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
This guy is a legend of the Ukrainian scene. He's been active in Counter Strike since 2013. Had a bit of time on Navi as well. I mean, like this is a guy who made the jump as soon as Valorant came in, and it's just that experience overall, I think, that can be so
Yeah.
important for fostering talents like Kadrix, for example, who I believe was actually trialing for the Vamonos rebuild at a point in time. Like, this is what Turp
Yeah.
is talking about, having players go to other regions. The fact that they've kept them here in East, I think, is going to be huge. And again, it's another name which we've seen floated around quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
Yeah. Guess like anybody want to give us a shout out? Where do we think B8's going to finish? Any sort of suggestions? No.
Well, for
Top
me, it's just
5, a little bit lower maybe, like
Yeah.
upper
mid-table.
mid
Mid-table
table.
for me,
Yeah.
yeah.
Table. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Right, now moving on to the next team. We're moving fast and furious through this one. Zero Tenacity, another team who are uplifting, maybe not by their own decision. You've got Yash, who obviously moved away. But as for the rest, guys, I'll go to you first, Terp. What is your opinion on what Zero Tenacity have brought forward?
Why the fuck cannot be Hungarian?
Listen, listen.
I mean,
Listen.
Polacco, Hungarian, one brother, eh?
Yeah,
Listen, it can all be
especially in
changed in post. It can all be changed in post.
especially in sketch club in Warsaw. Chadi can relate. But yeah, Chris is also like a Polish player
Yeah.
who recently turned on 16 years old, so he's able to play in the VCL. Definitely interesting changes. Obviously, bringing the duo of Frey and Almo was the part of the off season I consider really really good, because I always believe that these guys functionate really good together, and adding Sneak to it, who is a super experienced player, and Chris, who is great talent, but like he has to work on his head, I would say, definitely, considering his past and the thing that he's basically a kid. But I hope that this will be a pretty successful season for Zero Tenacity when it comes to rebuilding their position in a search. It's a perfect moment for it, obviously, because the league is not that stacked as it was, for example, back in 2023, with great rosters built by Acend, Anonymous, Enterprise,
Yeah.
Diamant, etc., etc. So, in my opinion, it should be easier for Zero Tenacity to fight for example, top three, top four, top five. Top five is the minimum absolutely for this roster, I believe. Uh, and yeah, the most interesting thing for me is how Aimer will do as a coach. To be
Yeah.
honest, because it's his first trip as a coach, and I think he has great mind for it, and he's bringing a lot of good spirit to this team, because I know what spirit he brings to the team environment. I had a pleasure to be the coach on Red Bull Campus Clutch São Paulo, and Aimer is that guy who is always providing the good atmosphere within the team. I just hope he won't be only the atmospherovich. He will be
Yeah.
the brain behind this team as well.
Enfist, you want to add anything?
Yeah, for me, it's just like take a close look at Alma and Frey. Like, don't underestimate those guys. This duo is just in a great spot. And I've always been just a fan of these guys. So yeah, to add to that, Sneak and a new up and coming talent of Chris, that's just going to be a good roster.
Haza?
Yeah, for me, I guess the only question is going to be how much firepower are you missing out on by Yash going to
Yeah.
Job Life and then Kayak in the off season going to Apex. I think for the players that you've got here, though, yeah, there is plenty of quality. Snick, I can remember from his time on Anonymo as well. Plenty of experience. Looks like a decent roster overall. We'll just have to see how it is that they end up playing.
Definitely. And now I think we start to get into the spicy stuff, you know, the ones that we're expecting maybe to start to challenge the upper echelons of the league, who finished highly. We'll start off with Go Next. And for me, seeing a roster and researching everything, this was a roster that was really exciting for me. We'll go to you first, Enfist. I mean, there's a lot of quality here.
Yeah, there's quite a lot. Like the squad that was performing when it comes to the VOC level, the off-season tournament, they shown a massive power just being taken out by Ascend in the grand final. Well, this is a very good promise. They can even fight for the first spot in there when it comes to this squad. And with having Zeke onto the roster, with having such experienced player, and the addition of many to that, it's just gonna be very much of a high quality team that is just going to fight not only for qualifying to Ascension, but maybe even further.
Yeah. Terp, what's your thoughts on what Go Next have brought forward?
Yeah, what I can say, I love this team, obviously. Like, all of those guys are my friends, or at least colleagues, and I consider all of them super talented.
Yeah.
And seeing them being put all together was like, what the fuck is happening, right?
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I wasn't expecting to ever see like a Polish core in the organizations such as Ascent or Go Next in East.
Yeah.
But with this roster, as Enfis said, like Go Next became really competitive when it comes to fight for a top spot. And this is something that we need. Like, we need a team who will challenge Ascent, obviously, because
Yeah.
we know that Enterprise was super brave in the past year. Nobody will take it from them, but they had like their problems internal, and they had Benji Fishy, who is obviously really great player
Yeah.
and super talented, but he was still in process of learning during the journey of 2023. And don't get me wrong, I'm more than happy that he took the first steps in East, and I'm happy that we had opportunity to meet him. He also made a league more popular, let's be honest. Like everyone benefited like from his presence here. Like he benefited because he got a lot of experience in a
Yeah.
really good team environment. We benefited because he provided us with the huge fan base and stuff. But also, like we all benefited on the thing that we just get to know each other and stuff like this. I'm always happy to see him like taking the next steps in the career.
Yeah.
But for example, Mini moving to replace Chuck in this Go Next roster was like, yeah, this is it. Because
Yeah.
I have a huge respect for Chuck as well. Don't get me wrong here, but he felt himself that he's not like maybe having so much fun from the game and stuff like this when he decided to retire, right?
Yeah.
So it's also like super cool about Chuck that he got this maturity in him, like to confess something like this on his own. Because we see a lot of players who are veterans of the scene, such as Chuck, obviously,
Yeah.
and they still want to prove something. I don't know what, because he doesn't have to prove anything. To be honest, like for me, he is the legend of the East already.
Yeah.
But this decision to take a step back to still work with Gonex, because I don't know if everyone is aware that he will still be working as a second coach slash
Yeah.
analyst, probably something like this. This is giving a huge opportunity for Gonex, and we saw it in off season, like when we had like super exciting final between Ascent and Go Next. And you have to remember that Ascent was playing with Chihuahua for a short time,
Yeah.
and also the whole Go Next roster was playing together for a short time. So, in if we will have the final between Ascent and Go Next in, for example, first or second split of VCL,
Yeah.
we will have teams who are playing together for a long time, and I think we will have even bigger banger game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just can't wait for this rivalry, and I hope that mentioned by Adrian earlier, Zeke will also prove that yeah, he had to take step back to tier one, but to be honest, I will be happy to say him fuck off after 1 year and get back to the VC team, and
Yeah.
because in my opinion, it will be always his place.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, has a lot of recognizable, a lot of recognizable names slipping over my words there.
Yes.
I'll leave it up to you to sprinkle your magic.
Yeah, so I mean, Chaddy's the one piece of continuity, but for me, this is all about change and the
Yeah.
next generation beginning to phase in and what Valorant's homegrown talent will begin to look like over the next couple of years. I think the additional context that Turp brought towards Shaq is, garnered further respect for me for him as a player because, again, I see him as being the old guard. He's sort of the trajectory of his career had slowly gone a bit further down the pan as time had gone on, having previously been on Fnatic and one of the players, which, back as far as Summon FC was someone that I really enjoyed watching, and I used to, love his gameplay. Hussar as well is another guy who was around during First Strike with Need More DM, like the OG Hungarian team that we were seeing. But yeah, they've sort of lost their place now to these young guns that are coming through. Buld and Zeke, only 22 years of age each. Profek coming in at 19, though. The guy is an absolute madman, both inside and outside of the server. We saw how good he was on DMR. run. I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to what kind of an imprint he can make on this Go Next team as well, which I do also have to sort of be challenging Acend. Like, this is the rivalry that we expect, and the intent was always there from since this roster got released or since we were made aware of it. You speak of the off-season results too. I think they did all right in Mandatory Cup. They didn't make it out of groups, but they had to make way for Ascend. So already you're starting to see that clash come through. And yeah, it's one which will hopefully blossom over the coming 6 months or so.
Sick. Thank you very much, Hazza. It's always great to have someone who's like poetry in motion. You know, he loves to get
Thank you.
going. But speaking of, you spoke about Profik, who was on Diamant. I think it's only right that we segment then on towards Diamant and look at what the roster that they have coming through. I think it's fair to say that second split that they had in 2023 was a fairly exciting one. They started to challenge towards the top, but Enfist, they have lost, I would say, a lot of quality, losing out on Runner, Profik and Patitek.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, those players were just a temporary stop for the organization because obviously they just wanted to prove themselves rather than going to the VCT. Patetek also, yes, he went to VCT too. And there's just Profek who exchanged the squads, and that quality was just taken away. But the new quality is coming in with Westside being one of the most talented players when it comes to East Search League, being like when he started, Westside started by being taken from I think ranked Q by Shachmat by Kozok, and then he just got picked up by more and more experienced teams, and now he's here in the international roster in within East Search League. So he's going to perform at his best, I'm thinking. He's a talented player as a duelist and so on, and he's going to make it on top in there. With additional Xicha, he's very experienced. We know him from Zero Tenacity and other squads. And there's Pace, who's proven himself when it comes to the off season. So I reckon this squad is having some sort of opportunity in order to prove themselves. Although you're saying quality is a little bit lower due to the names, but still, I'm thinking that it's going to be just fine for them.
Terp, are you agreeing? Might not be the biggest names, but certainly got the quality that those names have.
In my opinion, like the biggest asset that Diamant has for a long time already
Paco.
is Paco.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, he, with all respect to NBS, to Jabba, to other beautiful coaches out here in East, in my opinion, Paco proved that he can work with rookie players in a unique way. Like he built the beast from runner. Like not everyone knows, but it was also rookie year for runner in
Yeah.
VCL. He was not playing in 2022 in VCL, and this should be like the perfect example for players. I mentioned it before. I'm mentioning it many times this conversation because I believe it matters. 19 rookies in this split, and we had two rookies in 2023 who are already playing in VCT, right? We have Runner and we have Benji Fishy,
Yeah.
who are both already in the league of the big boys. So it has to be like a story to follow for all the young players. I feel like that you can't fucking cry about not having a proper team, not having anything. Like if you want to build a story for yourself and you have like proper talent and motivation and discipline, because this is what makes players great, you can like go through the whole path from VRC 1 year, second year VCL, and third year you will be playing VCT. It's possible, and it's not only talking, it's like facts, and those people show it. And Paco, in my opinion, had great like involvement into like making Beast from Runner, also helping rebuild Patitech from what he told me in like private talks and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Patitech always claimed that Paco is really good coach. Profek also said the same thing to me. So he has a big respect within the players. He's also from what I've heard, because I don't know if this is true. He's also really valued by the organization and stuff like this. He like I lost the track for a second. Sorry for this. But what I wanted to say is that Paco might be the game changer basically for
Yeah,
this team always. Pretty and Grmek, who stay as a core, are also great players, but Paco somehow is always putting together good teams, and you know Diamant was super close to qualify to VCL in first split of VRC in 2022, and after they qualified, they were always fighting for at least this top four, right?
yeah,
They are super consistent when it comes to building a team who is just behind the best teams, and West Side is probably the most interesting rookie to watch this split, alongside with Kayux and 1-0 probably. Um, but also Pies, the guy mentioned earlier from Denmark. He joined Diamant in the off season. He already proved himself, and I believe he might also be interesting person to watch. Xitra is like solid player. Like
yeah,
you can say nothing against him because he was always on, let's say, same quality of playing. Like I didn't notice like weaker games from him
yeah,
and stuff like this.
yeah.
Just to add to that, West Side's Polish, so you know.
Ah, okay. Thank you very
Yeah,
much, mate. I'll make sure to change that one, Haza. I'll leave it to you.
this is anti-Polish propaganda. Second Polish second Polish
That's
player without the flag.
Oh kurwa.
Don't
Yeah,
don't
no, it's
don't come back to Wrocław, you know.
Oh well, you'll find it interesting where I'm going to be next week. Then we speak about that later. Yeah. So you look at this team, right? I think when I saw Pays on this roster, it was like the meme. What the hell the polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas, right? Because he's a Northern European player. I know he likes a bit of the content. He's duo queuing with Static sometimes. Like he's a funny guy. But to on a more serious note, talk about this team. Yeah, it's like everything that's already been said. Gramek and Purty, like solid players with Zicha in there as well. Like the core of this team is going to be really good.
Yeah.
Westside coming in as a player that I've not had much of a chance to look at as well. It feels like this seems to be the narrative of like all of this unknown quantity with just that high potential of what exactly it can bring. And then also to mention, yeah, I spoke to Patatek as well recently, back when he was still on Kase. In the interview with him, he said that if he thought that is sort of if that roster had a couple months more with Paco, if they had had the first split maybe to like fully build in the ideas and what it is that they wanted to create, then they could have been challenging for Ascension. That is a value that he held to himself. And now that the roster is here, if this is competitive right out the gates, then there's no reason that this can't be molded into sort of one of those challenging teams yet again. So really looking forward to what it is they bring, and it should be like top three for me. Honestly, it's fairly interchangeable.
There we go. I mean, I'm really excited by what Diamond brought forward. Obviously, Paco, not someone that I've known to be held in that high regard, but obviously going to be looking out for him now as we move now on towards Enterprise, our second place finishers from last year, and again a lot of change from 2023 into 2024. I'll let you go first, Terp. What's your opinion on the changes that they've got?
uh I just need to say that I'm not sure if Tenebra is staying. He was not registered for the league,
Okay.
at least. So maybe the coach is missing here, but uh, yeah, it's hard to say something right now, because when it comes to the quality of players on papers, this is basically the downgrade, and uh sorry, boys. I love you. I know that you loved me until I said it. Shouty Hasa, etc. But yeah, like basically this roster containing the core of Mini, Muffin, Alexi Cancer was showing themselves on a really high level for the past 2 years. Basically, they were one of the first teams that actually qualified to the East Surge back in 2022 in the same roster. Obviously without Benji Fishy. But yeah, like I just hope that we will see some decent Valorant from this current core, because Hasa, Shouty, they were playing in 2022 in Entropic in East Search. They actually were the authors, I believe, of one of the craziest action we ever witnessed in East Search. Like I'm not sure if it was first or second split of East Search 2022, but I'm talking about one action from Rauschik, I believe. I don't know if you remember, and if it was Acend, like crazy clutch with the backside people. Never mind, I will show you the clip later. But it is legendary action. So I just hope it will be this version of Shouty and his team, and not the version of Shouty and the team in 2022 second split, because I believe they did something like 0-14 in the league, no, they won one game. It was 113, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was 113. Uh, and yeah, I just hope that the Czech power will stay strong, because Czech is great region. We have really great Czech players. This
Yeah.
split as well in the league when it comes to rookies, when it comes to the experienced players, and I hope that this experience will like be the power of current enterprise, because losing Alex, Chick, and Muffin is and Mini is a rough thing,
Yeah.
in my opinion. This is what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of quality lost. Infist, what have you got to say about the roster?
Um, Well, as Tab said before, on paper it's a downgrade. He mentioned many stuff from the past coming in. For me, well, the quality, it's quite a bit lower. So I'm just wishing them luck in order to maintain what's been done in the past year. But to be perfectly honest, I am not thinking that they're going to be fighting for the top spot.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Hazza, anything else to add?
I agree with Enfist. I think something that was probably massively underrated about this team is losing Alexic. He felt
Yeah.
like a bit of a powder keg at times, but on the whole, his entry work was pretty good. It was in some of those bigger games where maybe against the top players in the league, the quality difference could be seen a little bit more thoroughly. But yeah, they're like big names in there, like Mini even as well, off to go next. The fact they keep Cancer is important and is sort of a notorious name within the region as well. But other than that, yeah, I gotta hope that Hassa does well, because every time I hear his name, I think someone's talking about me. But yeah, no, you can only wish them the best, because I think they might need it.
Yeah, I think so. And finally, we will talk about the Kings of East. Yet to actually lose a competition playing in East here, Acend has a. I'm not going to go to you first, but I was just saying your name. I don't know why I did
Cheers, mate.
that. No bother. Came third in Ascension. A lot. I think they broke a lot of East hearts. It has to be said here, Enfys, because everyone thought they had the quality to go and win Ascension.
Well, this roster is an interesting iteration. Like every single player is very much talented, and every single player performed at their own story when it comes to the past years, but being
Yeah.
brought together in order to conquer East made them one of the best teams in the whole entirety of EMEA. Like you said, they just tried in order to get to partnership league, but unfortunately, coming in a third place when it comes to Ascension, they're wrong for them. This squad is very much talented, alive. I remember playing against him when it comes to Polaris when he was playing on EXO back in the days. Buddy G, very much of an experienced player. We remember situations when it comes to Fun Plus Phoenix from the past. He could have gone on an international tournament.
Yeah.
Brody, a massive person, massive player, uh, great quality from him when it comes to that Brit. And Musashi, you know, this guy was just immaculate when it comes to the big squad. The addition of Chihuahua instead of Monster, well, to be perfectly honest, it was personal stuff for Monster to quit, as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
To confirmation for that. But Chihuahua is still a great quality to add to that roster. And it's just one exchange. Like, not much maybe changing when it comes to, like, just training new players and stuff like that. But just adding one, and they've played already when it comes to the off season. They're just gonna maintain this high level, and I'm hoping for them that they get the first place. I mean, it's just my prediction that they're just gonna dominate that league. Maybe some step backs when it comes to the teams that the opposition for them, like Golnex can make out a good fight against them, but there's certainly the team that is just being on a pedestal in here.
Yeah. Obviously, Terp, you know the Kings. What is your thoughts on the Monster switch out and obviously keeping together as a team?
You know, what can I tell you? Like, I did this promise to myself that I won't change a jersey in the background until there will be any new king, and this shirt is here for 1 year already. So, yeah, uh, I feel blessed that we have such an
Yeah.
organization which was also like huge part of my story here in Valorant, and organization who somehow made me also the person who I am today, because I'm not gonna lie, like casting the grand final of VCT Champions 2021 was still the most important moment of my life in Valorant. So I just I, I can't say much. Like, obviously they are favorite to win the whole shit once again, but I just hope that we will have great rivalry between them, and at least one team, such as I mentioned Go Next
Yeah.
in the past, because this is also like very cool narrative to see Zeke playing against the team which against the organization which he won the champions being in. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm just happy that we have this team, and I'm not gonna say that switching Monster to Chihuahua is downgrade or upgrade, because I believe they are both players of the pretty same quality.
Yeah.
I just feel sad that we lost Monster on the pro play, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is the bad thing for me. I feel like he's super talented guy, super cool person. Like,
Yeah.
not only a player but also as a human being, right? And he was MVP of both splits in 2023 for a reason. So it's a big loss, but I hope he will bounce back in 1, 2, 3 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just excited to see one of the best teams in Europe getting back on server. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, and I hope that n- like because it has to be mentioned in this moment, like whatever happens in search this split, whatever will happen in first second split, I just hope that we will have Ascent or Go Next or any other team going into Ascension and smashing boom, 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 everyone.
Well, as we've got two Northern European boys joining Ascend. We've also got Vubit, who isn't on the graphic, and in the sub role, we've also got Chua, who was playing on Who Cars. What's your opinions on Ascend?
I mean, as Terp was going through what he was saying there, I felt, what else is there left to be said? But you've pulled the thoughts directly from my brain. This is a Polaris team. Alive was on XL as well.
Oh, yeah.
Chua has had his time on both XL, as you're seeing in the photo of him with the jersey and Who Cars. Yeah, no, this roster is just quality, though. Like, it's a shame that we're missing out on Monster. Still very young guy, only like 18 or so he has a very bright future ahead of him, and I hope he can harness that. In terms of upgrade, downgrade, again, I probably wouldn't comment on it because I think they are both quality players, but I would say it is an upgrade in terms of experience. Chihuahua has been around for so long in this game now. Something that'll happen when you get to those latter stages of competition, and I think we wanted Ascend to do us a favor against Gentlemates last time, more for their fans being on the other side of the arena than anything else, is that he has a very set way of playing. You'll expect Chua to be on these lurks to sort of set up like that. Whether Brody's going to try and position him differently, or if we just get that same vintage gameplay, is something that we're going to have to try and see. I could talk about all of these players for ages on end, but yeah, to just touch on Brody again quickly, I think that he is one of the best IGLs within the scene. The same way that Alive is one of the best duelists, Baddy G, the controller, Musashi, the sort of Swiss Army knife jack of all trades, and MBS in the coaching role has wealth and wealth of experience too. So it's sort of, you expect them to win. The journey might look a little bit different, but the destination is pre-planned in my eyes.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And with that being said, that is all 10 teams reviewed for East and the format. Listen, lads, I will ask you each individually to give you a shout out to your socials or say whatever you want to say. I'll link it all down in the description below. But Terp, I'll let you go first.
What was the question? Sorry.
Just to give a shout out for your socials so people can follow you.
Socials. Yeah, follow me on AceGear.pl. We are also delivering to UK.
For God's sake. Enfest, anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, for me, it's just follow up my Twitter, follow up my TikTok. I'm going to be starting to post some new content in the upcoming weeks, I'd say. So just give it a follow if you want, of course.
Yeah,
Follow our league. Follow our league.
He's also giving Riot Gun buddies to
Oh,
the people who will write to him. So I think it's worth to do so. No, don't involve Boek. Boek has no gun buddy.
Has anything you
I will, yeah, I'll say a couple of things. One, the coffee that you bought me is still warm, so I'll be enjoying that after the stream. Good luck to Enfist with Metasport, of course, in Northern Europe as well. So make sure to be tuning into those. Looking forward to that coming back. Tune into East, too, and also the Scoreboard now has a Twitter account at the Scoreboard OC on Twitter. So go and follow the Scoreboard because we'll be back and hopefully we'll be doing some of the English coverage for East potentially later down the line.
Guys,
if we
I
get
have
the opportunity.
I have no money, no money.
Money or no money, who knows? We'll be there. We'll be there. Co-stream or whatever, right? Look, I'm looking forward to seeing all 10 teams play once again.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. The links for all the socials and stuff will be down below in the description. You have a good one. Tune in to East and tune in to more episodes coming soon. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Like, subscribe, fuckers.